Another week, another Shack together. Today we're joined by TJ Denzer, Shack News senior news editor, an esteemed guest to be sure. We've got a packed one today. We're going to dive into our collective backlogs in a segment titled Backclogged, one you're sure to love. By the way, at the end of that, we will be handing out awards for the best backlog. Exciting. Today's story time is extremely interesting in that we have a Rise of the Ronin preview courtesy Mr. Denzer. Spoiler for his impressions, they are positive, and the game sounds quite good. We also touch on the Super Mario Bros. Sequel that was announced a few days ago, courtesy of Miyamoto himself. Then we touch on Summer Games Fest 24, some newly announced South African DLC for Call of the Wild the Angler, a release date for Paper Mario, original Xbox Halo 2 going back online via a mod, and more. Here we go. Enjoy the show. Thanks for listening.
Okay, so Sunday was the Oscars, right? The Academy Awards for film
Correct.
And television. But it was also Mario Day. And I don't know if you guys noticed, the Mario movie was largely absent at the Academy Awards. I don't think that the fact... Did you see the Miyamoto message? Did you see it?
Yeah.
Saw it. I need to be filled in. I mean,
they trotted him out.
Yeah.
Yep.
He came out. He said, "This is Miyamoto." He took over the Nintendo of America Twitter account and was like, "This is Miyamoto. Mario Movie 2 happening April 2026." There is no coincidence that they did that the day of the Oscars, right? That's not, or is it just because it was Mario Day? Or is it because it was Mario Day and they just disrespected Mario so blatantly at the Oscars?
It was because it was Mario Day and Nintendo had nothing else to show us.
Sure they did. What are you talking about? We got a release date? We got a release date for Paper Mario at the 1,000-Year Door? And we got a release date for Luigi's Mansion 2
what?
HD?
A movie 2 years from now?
Yeah. Did you think it was coming out in 2 years? I didn't.
I was really hoping that it would come out within the next 2 to 5 years. Like,
look, dude, how long did it take them between the last two Mario movies? And now look how close these other two are.
That's true. It's not 53 years. What was it?
I'm just saying that Nintendo was like, how are you going to look at that film and be like, yeah, they shouldn't be nominated for anything?
You're right. I love that Nintendo announced the new movie. Man, oh man. When I think Nintendo, I'm excited about the movie release. Give me a game.
No, listen to yourself. This is Miyamoto, the GOAT, the king of Nintendo. And he comes down from his castle just to let us know, hey, I'm still Willy Wonka and I'm still working on stuff over here.
Tell you, you're right. I do like Miyamoto saying, hi, it's Miyamoto. Like
of course. Yes, it's like when you meet Shaquille O'Neal, he's like, hi, I'm Shaq. It's like, no, we know who you are, dude. You don't need to tell us every time.
But it's like endearing. I like that.
But all I'm saying, man, I don't know. Maybe if you owned a giant metric shit ton of Nintendo shares, you might care more too. But like, I think it's just not a coincidence that they're like Mario Movie 2. We're gonna try to make a bigger, better story. Like, I think Miyamoto and Nintendo, they understand that they didn't receive any nominations for these awards. But like, how are you gonna look at the score, that original score of that movie, and say that isn't at least nominee worthy? How are you gonna look at Peaches, which is like the most viral song of the last year, and just ignore it? Like, I'm just saying,
right.
I get it. We know who got treated like this when they were early in their era of making computer-generated film. Pixar. This is just like the attitude they used to have about Pixar.
Yeah, but the difference is, look, if I have to explain the difference between Pixar and Illumination, all right, that's it. Illumination's gotten better, I'll say, in Illumination. But
this
Pixar
isn't Illumination. This is Illumination and
banger
Nintendo. All I'm saying is, how dare you, Academy, not at least acknowledge the music in that film or Jack Black's performance.
Where is Jack Black performing? I will say,
let's get John Cena with his dick out. That's great content. No, get Jack Black on stage singing Peaches. That's how you get people who actually matter to watch your stupid awards show. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Mario Day. Thank you, Miyamoto, for announcing a movie that won't be out for multiple years, that will probably get delayed. I just appreciate you.
It's a Mia Mario like a unportmanteau of Miyamoto? Is there any credence to that?
I don't think so. I think Mario is literally like named after a dude who existed with the name Mario.
He was like a janitor or something.
Right.
Like someone who
Amazing.
worked in their office was named
He
Mario.
wasn't the landlord. What was the landlord?
It might have been a landlord. Yeah, it was like I don't know. It was someone that used to work with them at like they were like working with them at Nintendo of America early on. That's
He
how we
wasn't
got
a plumber or a construction worker?
I don't think he was a plumber.
My illusion is shattered.
But
Wow.
look, all I know is that some people didn't like the Mario movie. They're dead inside, but like this next Mario movie is going to take all your complaints into consideration because Nintendo is upset that they didn't win any awards or at least get nominated. And I know that Across the Spider-Verse didn't win for Best Animated Film either. So
No, but that's a career award for Mr. Miyazaki.
yeah, that's cool. But like Across the Spider-Verse has the best chase scene I've ever seen in the history of film.
No, it's
Period.
awesome. It was
But
great.
anyway, sorry, this rant is completely off the tracks. We
I
should
hope
start
this
the
was
show.
the cold open to the, and then it became like a warm middle. There you go.
Yeah. All right.
When Mr. Miyamoto makes a special message on a Sunday morning, I take it seriously and I appreciate it.
As you should.
And it was translated in like every language. It was great. 10 out of 10 with Mario Day again.
Kick it off.
You're listening to Shack Together, a Shack News video game podcast where if you're not together, you're a listener. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and I'm joined today by my co-host, John Benyamine.
Oh.
Our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hey.
And senior news editor at Shack News, TJ Denzer.
Hey, y'all. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, welcome to the Shack
Yay.
News extended podcast universe, TJ. I don't think we've ever done a podcast together. We've done all sorts of other stuff, but yeah, this is your first time in the Sipu, as the kids call it, right? Right, Joe? They're still calling it that?
Yeah, that's correct, Asif. I just checked the temperature, and they're still calling it that.
That's awesome. So yeah, TJ, welcome to Shack Together. Happy to have you here. We're going to be talking about some games that you've played for review, some other stuff. We're going to be talking about the news, which you help write here at Shack News every day. But first, we got to know, what have you been playing? What video games have you been playing lately?
Some of the things I've been playing I can't talk about yet, but the one thing I can talk about, or the couple things I can talk about, are Unicorn Overlord is like my new favorite thing. It might be my favorite game this year so far.
Wow.
What are you playing it on? Is that Switch?
I'm playing it on PS5. It's on Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. Not on PC because Vanillaware for some reason doesn't like to release their games on PC.
Huh.
But this game is like unabashedly Ogre Tactics Ogre Battle from back in the day. It's like got a real-time strategy to it. You don't like you assemble units from different characters. You don't actually like do like turn-based battles when two units run into each other. They kind of do like an auto attack thing where they fight it out based on how you've arranged the units. The world is lush. The characters are really cool. The art is gorgeous, and I love a good RPG. I love fantasy fiction. I love good strategy, and it just checks all those boxes and provides so much good stuff. The other thing I've been playing the heck out of it is Balatro.
Nice.
That game is super addictive. I know you guys talked about it the last episode, but man, it's good.
No,
it's so addictive.
Here's the
It's so
thing, though,
good.
TJ. Last episode, I had yet to play it. This episode, I have played it a lot, and I have a lot of thoughts on it. But yeah, no, it's great. I know you reviewed it for Shack News, and we were just kind of chatting about it before the show started. There is a win condition in that game, so like I haven't gotten to that point yet. But it is just like that gameplay loop. It's like one of the best I've played in a very long time. Like super addictive, and it just the game is like equally insulting and rewarding at the same time, where it's like sometimes you fire up a game of Balatro and it's like you lose on the first hand, and other times you pick it up and you're like playing for like 40 minutes straight. So it's just I like the randomness in it.
It is a very rude game, and some of those boss blinds are absolutely cruel.
Oh yeah, the one where it's like you can only play one hand.
I post the eye. Yeah,
Yeah, I hate that one.
That is the worst.
The one where you can only play one type of hand once per like. I hate that one. I hate that one a lot. But yeah, like I've gotten into like using the tarot cards. I know I made a stupid comment last week about not liking jokers in this game. Like I get how they implemented it; it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
But just like if you're just hearing a poker game with jokers, I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be clown shoes. But no, it's actually very. It's the jokers add this like huge deep element of gameplay to it. Yeah, I love that game. It's crazy. It's so good. It has no business being that good.
Is that all PC?
No, it's on Switch.
It's on Switch.
It's on,
it is on Switch. I really got to get that.
You get it. Just get it.
Nice. Okay, cool.
It's great. I mean,
Good for your productivity.
I will say this. No, but you know, John, you travel, like you're on planes a lot and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm thinking. Right.
Perfect for a plane because
Nice.
it's like you'll forget how much time has passed kind of game. It's a one more game kind of game. It doesn't need the internet or anything, and it doesn't like get in your way. It's just game. There's not a whole lot of nonsense going on, so it's fast. Yeah,
I mentioned when I reviewed it that heaven forbid this game ever comes to iOS or Android, because it will literally take over my life every time I'm in a place where I just have time to kill and have my cell phone on me.
Yeah, I agree. It would be, I think it would translate very well to a touch interface. I don't know about like screen real estate on a phone. They would have to adapt it a little bit, but and also like, I'm not sure, would it be a horizontal orientation or like a vertical, like portrait mode for the game? Also, just making mobile apps sucks.
Yeah.
Just
I'll mock something up. I'll mock something up and send it over.
Just send it over to the devs. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
here's your free to play game as a service, right? That's cool. Are you playing anything else, TJ? Are those
No, those are the main things right now.
and then stuff you can't talk about because they're under embargo?
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
You could talk about it, but then we could get the AI to like redact it.
Or you could just change the name.
The AI though. Like,
Yeah, all right. I'm trying to remove AI from the equation. Here, you keep inserting it.
I know. I'm a big old asshole.
Yeah. So
it's true. Like that's the AI way. I'm sorry, Asif, you were saying.
So, John, what have you been playing?
Oh, well, hello. What have I been playing? Okay, so I'm done with Infinite Wealth.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
like in a good way. Like you completed it.
Yeah.
You're happy with it.
I'm happy with it. I actually started up like New Game Plus, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this right now.
Yeah.
I logged in like I think I'm at 105 hours. I really did like it. I mean, I do like it. I find it pretty amazing. I don't know if I like it as much as Like a Dragon or even A Man Without a Name, which were the previous two. But it's really nice. It's like I wish it had a little bit more schmaltz, you know. Like a Dragon was really good with that, and actually the previous game, Man Without a Name, Man Who Erased His Name.
Man Who Erased His Name.
Yeah, Man Who Erased His Name. My bad. You know, they had really like dramatic, you know, melodramatic moments, and there are moments where I'm relatively new to the series based on these three games. Now I'd say I'm familiar with the series, but being new to the series, having some of those moments that would give you chills, and I'm like, I don't know exactly who everybody is. I don't know why this is momentous, but man, oh man, does this feel momentous. This feels like dramatic and like goosebumps and everything. I would say Infinite Wealth doesn't have that. What it does have, by and large, what it does have is just a really solid, you know, great experience, you know, solid story, like good story, solid. I think sometimes it's overused as average. No, I think it's a good, you know, story, you know, really polished gameplay. A lot of fun, man. And Kasuga continues to be right up there. I really believe, for me, like right up there with Mario and with Sonic as like an impactful, you know, games character. Again, yeah, for me, which I'm still kind of shocked by. So anyway,
we mentioned it before, we mentioned it before, but like I really feel like that universe would do very well in like an animated series format or something like,
It'd be
or
amazing.
a movie even. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like
Mhm.
I'm trying to scratch that itch with like what I like Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix, and I know Ninja. There's a new Ninja. I don't know the title offhand. It's like on Max. There's some stuff that's like more you know, they categorize it as adult animation, but you know it's essentially anime. It's not contemporary though; those aren't contemporary.
Mhm.
So in that regard, I'm now starting to play what is it? Like a Dragon Ishin. I think it's Ishin. So that's the one in the Yakuza series that takes place in the, I guess, Edo period, Edo's dynasty period. So I don't know. I have to like really, I'm like learning as I'm playing about the history. And actually, that particular game, there's a glossary that follows along with you. So you could actually like learn about, well, this is what was going on actually during that time period. This is Edo became Tokyo, and this is what, the sort of a little bit of the progression. So anyway, Infinite Wealth has been vanquished for now. I put it, in the category of, I can see why people have it as a 10 out of 10 game. I am trying to scratch that itch with some animated series, and even some older games in the Yakuza series.
I know you don't review games, but what would you give this on a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 9.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a solid.
That's a solid score. 9 is great.
Yeah, like if we're just going whole numbers, it's definitely a 9. I think 10, I get why somebody would give it a 10. And Famitsu, I think, gave it a 40 out of 40.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
Which is amazing. And I
love
think
how
this is
they operate over there too. That's 4 different reviewers all agreeing
all
that it was a 10. Yeah.
Yeah, they all had to agree. And I don't think that was the first game that's gotten a perfect 40 in this series, even. But yeah, I'd give it a 9, and I'd probably give the previous two, I could see myself giving them 10s. Like those, like Dragon and a man who erased his name. Yeah.
Question.
Great.
I have a question.
Sure.
And this is something that probably only you would be able to answer better than like probably most reviewers. Is the super late game of this grindy at all? Because I remember that was like something folks told me about Yakuza 6, Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
Was that for all the trappings of like pretending to be like a JRPG, it did end up having like bonus dungeons that were like ridiculously grindy at the end?
It did. I remember with Like a Dragon, there's definitely the same kind of grindiness where you have the underground dungeons, and those are like procedurally generated. And then, it's really all about just leveling up. I'll say I don't think that's necessary. I actually liked the grind, this time. I don't know why I was like, oh, this is just cool. I'm down with this. I get some gear, I get some level, and all that. If I want to like 100% complete in terms of achievements, if I wanted to do that, you have to get to like level 70. I think I ended the game at 54, and I was pretty OP. I was pretty like, there was no real reason to grind anymore unless I was like a completionist, or if I'm doing New Game Plus, you're able to bring your level and your stats over to the new game to like, let's do it again with, higher level enemies and things like that. So I'd say there's absolutely a grind. I'll also say I put in 105 hours. I could probably have finished it in like 50, but like I really liked the little restaurant chats. They call them table talks. I liked the all the side stories. There's like a Pokemon card battle type game that was pretty compelling. I spent 10 hours in this Animal Crossing Animal Crossing inspired, game. You could probably spend like 2 hours and get done with it, but I'm like, no, I want to unlock everything and whatnot. So I think you could grind if you want to, but I don't think it's mandatory.
Sure.
But yeah, a lot of fun. I would say that this is a great series. I owe it all to Joe for turning me on to it, because when I first met the series, I thought it was a GTA clone. It is most definitely not. It is a very special series, just like I think GTA is. I do but just if you're expecting that, you're not going to get that. This is something different, and not too often do you come across characters in media, and I'm saying movies, TV, whatever. That I'm 45, like I'm gonna be, an old if I'm not there. I don't remember too many characters over the last 10 years that have impacted how I look at life. That's crazy to me that I'm saying that. It just doesn't happen, I guess, as much anymore. I don't know if that's cynicism or what that is. But Ichiban Kasuga is like, he is almost like an inspiration for how, you kind of should be. And, we all struggle. We all have like good times, bad times, ups and downs. Seeing this character, develop and just his resiliency and whatever, it's really actually very sweet. And it's nice to see this in gaming or in any medium. And I just, it's that said 9 out of 10. But yeah, pretty awesome. So
Not quite good enough for a role model. Yeah.
If it was just a little bit there.
No. Joe, what have you been playing?
Oh my God. I have been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I won't rehash all of my comments from a week ago, other than to say that I feel stalwart in my take that open worlds are bad, except for in Zelda. And this is a bad one.
I hear that.
I think it's getting worse. Not because not because the content got worse, but it's like, oh, another zone with identical stuff to do. Okay. It's going to take 8 hours to get to. Okay.
And it's kind of like Ubisoft, like with the towers, right? Isn't that a large part of it? Is like unlocking towers and stuff?
Yeah. My charitable answer to the question is that has been overblown in the press, I guess, because, like in terms of time, that's like a cumulative 7 minutes, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is structurally, that is how it works. And it's also worse than in Ubisoft, because in an Ubisoft game, you're literally revealing, or you're removing the fog of war. I think it's been a while since I've played.
Yeah, like a map expand. Yeah, fast travel and map expansion. Yeah, that's usually what is done with that.
So you don't really get that here. It'll show you like a blip or two with an activity that contributes to your 100% completion for the zone. I don't even like talking about it in this context because I have nothing good to say about it, and I'm a little annoyed at the franchise, which I think confidently say is my favorite IP. Period, is Final Fantasy, and it this is not particularly novel a take, but man, they just can't seem to just in one installment get everything right, and it's absolutely subjective, no doubt. I'm not saying that they did anything quote unquote wrong, but 16 was horrible for me. This one is bloated as hell. 14 requires a $15 a month purchase. Like, again, all subjective. I'm just having trouble connecting with the series as I get older. And I find myself more critical, and it's a bummer because it's something that I've loved for many years. And I'm a little frustrated with this game. That said, I'm sure I'll put 75 hours into it, and I'll keep updating. That's it.
I have a slightly funny story about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I cracked that game open while I was reviewing Unicorn Overlord, and my spouse, we just sit on the couch together and play games, and he ends up getting to see the stuff that I'm playing, and he likes watching that stuff. And we were sitting there cracking Final Fantasy VII, and I got to the Nibelheim part, like the flashback sequence.
Yep.
Cloud gets hit by one piece of wood and is just like incapable for the rest of the next 15 minutes. And we were just going through that scene, and I look over and Sam is just searching his phone, like surfing on his phone while the whole thing is playing. Like this is like one of the most iconic parts of Final Fantasy VII, and like both of us are just like, And eventually, I was like, "Do you want to go back to Unicorn Overlord? Because I'm like not feeling it."
Yeah. I think that is a microcosm of what I'm feeling because there's just this feeling of chore, and that sequence, while it doesn't have the open world syndrome that I've been talking about, it's just like belabored, and maybe that's really the word. Like everything is like too long, a little self-important, I think, and the best example just happens to be that open world where it is absolutely too long, too drawn out, and man, bummer. It's kicking a dead horse here, beating a dead horse, whatever the term is. But Asif, what have you been playing?
So yeah, I've been playing Balatro and F-Zero 99. I will say that Balatro has actually eaten into my F-Zero 99 time.
Wow.
So that's weird.
That's a vote.
You know, I don't have a whole lot of time to game, so I usually do it kind of late at night. And Balatro's like the perfect late night game. The music's super chill. There is no time limit to turns or anything. Because, I was into Pocket Card Jockey a few weeks ago, but there's like a time limit and there's like a race mechanic. And it's hard to like unwind playing it. And also F-Zero just drives me insane. So I end up having to I'm awake for an hour after I play it just because I'm like pissed off at dying or whatever. So it's just been nice to have like a different game. I love Balatro. This game's awesome. I would say it's at the top of my game of the year list right now. It's number one.
Yeah. You're not alone too. I can't believe how many times I've heard that recently.
Yeah, it's really good. And I love that it's like, smaller indie like game or whatever. Like, yeah, it's great. I have
real quick, Asif, before you pivot off Balatro, I think, and I haven't put more than 20 minutes into Balatro. I think I have a pretty good resistance with addictive games. It's to my detriment because I wish I could get on board. But I think that there's something to say about this and like Vampire Survivors, which maybe was 2 years ago. I don't know, a year ago. These games are frequently people's the phrase is, this is my game of the year so far. It's like, are we not saying that because we're so sick of these Ubisoft open world treasure hunt filler Botoxed garbage that is largely what we get? There's a pattern here,
But it's also, I just like good video games. It's not that like, oh, I'm not gonna play this or I'm not gonna play that because of whatever studio man. No, it's that.
Of course,
this is unique. This is like a unique take. This is like a different kind of game, and like, I think to your point, like, there's just so much of the same out there. If you look at like, I grew up like very into first person shooters. I barely play them anymore because they're just all the same, right? And when I heard about this poker game, and I don't even like roguelikes or roguelites, like I don't like them in general. Because I hate that feeling when you lose. You feel like you really lost everything. Although Hades is excellent, right? There's examples where I'm able to get into it. This is one of those where like I don't really feel like I wasted time anytime I lose a round or whatever. Like I'm like, okay, I learned something from this. I'm going to do better next time. And you actually unlock more cards as you play through it, as you hit different achievements and stuff. So I think it is a more rewarding game than a lot of other games, to your point. And I think that Breath of the Wild opened the door to a lot of people saying, hey, maybe you should try open world and here's what you could do. The whole concept of emergent gameplay, I think, is super important in that equation. And there just isn't a lot of that in some of those more traditional open world games. But like Balatro is just like, there's not a whole lot of fluff there. It's just the game. Right. And it's even like when you win, this is my only complaint about the game. The sound or song or whatever you want to call it that plays when you win a round or whatever in that, a blind in that, it almost sounds like you lost because it's the sound of your opponent losing. Right. So it's kind of weird. There's no like fanfare when you win, really. I don't know. Maybe if you get all the way to the end, there is, but I haven't made it that far. But I really like that game. I think it's very well designed. It's frustrating as hell at times, but like I think the systems that they created are really impressive. The celestial cards where you can upgrade, like, oh, a pair gets 2x what you thought it did, or it's level 5 now. The fact that you can level up cards, you can level up the rules of the game, and then you can mutate the rules with these Joker cards. There's just a lot of really interesting systems all working together in this game, and I'm very impressed by it. And yeah, it is my game of the year right now.
Heck.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm playing F-Zero 99. I know. It's not that surprising. I do have... I didn't play it as much as I have in the past, but I do have some of my rivals of the week. I didn't beat a single one of them. I was having a rough time this week in F-Zero. So none of these people, I didn't defeat a single one of them, but I wanted to shout them out anyway because they got good usernames. One is Force Zero, and you'll remember this one from a few weeks ago. Fiasco.exe again showed up.
Oh, he's back.
Right.
Oh, no.
He still beat me.
A true rival.
Really, coming back weeks later. Also, I know I played Gamer, but I played Gamer 3006 this week, guys, and they were pretty good. Also, F Hero, F-Hero. Thought that was
cute.
a pretty good username. And then last but not least, Bunk. Just Bunk. All of them beat me. They're all very good racers. Heartbreaking losses. It was like 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago I was playing it, and I just had like 5 races in a row where I was in 5th or higher going into the last lap, and I would die, and then it would drop me down to like 90th or whatever, 85th overall. So that was pretty brutal. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. I'm still playing Retro Bowl on my phone. I love it. But those are F-Zero 99 and Retro Bowl have kind of been in my rotation, but the one that's kind of taken over right now is Balatro, and I'm playing on Nintendo Switch on my TV, and it's great.
It's awesome. Oh, by the way, the bakery called and said, "Do you want it yet? The sheet cake?" And I said, "No, we're not ready."
John, your prediction, it has not come true yet.
We're getting there, though. We're getting there. People are ready to go.
The cakes are on call. The bakers are on call. Everyone's ready except for me because I keep dying. So I don't know when that will change. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing.
Very cool. We have quite a segment coming up. And I guess without any further ado, let's hop over.
Sure.
After this break. Okay, everyone, welcome to Backclogged. That's right. It's the segment where we explore the annals of history, our personal history, and admit to ourselves the games that have burned a hole in our head and hearts that we have not made time for. So we're going to go around the ring here and one at a time offer up to 3 games. So one at a time. So 3 times we'll go around. Let me know a game that has forever just remained on your list of games to play that you have even if you've made time for it, maybe you didn't put enough time into it. I don't know. It's there's no rules, there's no winning here. It's a therapy session is what it is. So I'm gonna kick things off with Asif. What's the first game that comes to mind?
Man, this is tough. I have a lot of my backlog's massive, and it depends what platform. Right, like I mainly play console games on my Switch. I mainly play other games on my PC. So I have kind of both. So I'm gonna go. I think there's a little bit of recency bias to my answers here, but I'm gonna say my first one is Pikmin 4. It's a great game.
That's a recent.
Yeah, it came out last year. TJ reviewed it for Shack News, and had nothing but glowing things to say about it, and everything. It's delightful. I was working on other games last year, so it kind of I downloaded it, I played the demo or whatever, and then I just kind of never got around to playing it again. And it's not because it's a bad game, it's just I haven't had the time. So it's one of those that I want to play it. I want to get back to it, but haven't been able.
Wow. Good pick.
That was a good pick. Okay. I actually own that and I have not played it yet.
Buying the Pikmin game, but I never.
Exactly. I'm like, I will play this. Have not yet played it, so I'm with you there.
Okay. Not alone.
It's an incredible and unintentional horror game. You'll be minding your own business, going about these happy little valleys, and then some horrible creature of the unknown will come out and eat your little guys. You'll be like, no, and then reload safe.
Creepy.
Wow.
And it has that little dog.
Yeah.
Kawachi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your first backlog game?
I actually posted about this like right at the end of 2023. This year, I hope to get into Dragon Quest XI. I love the Dragon Quest series. I think it's amazing. It's like one of the first games I ever remember playing was the first Dragon Warrior. Way back on NES. Just mapping out that entire world with my brother, figuring out how to beat where to get like the magic sword and the magic armor. And I don't know why. I don't know why I miss Dragon Quest XI, but everybody tells me that it's like the best the series has to offer, and I really want to see for myself.
I mean, that series is excellent.
I hit a brick wall with 11 towards the end, where it became extremely difficult all of a sudden, and there's a lot of games in that category, I think.
Sure,
but the journey getting there was very nice. John, you're up.
I'm up. Death Stranding.
Damn it! That's gonna be one of mine.
Death Stranding. It was, I played it a little bit. I played it actually. I probably put in like several hours into that. And I liked it, and the feeling was pretty awesome. It looked gorgeous, but just the feeling it gave you was like true, almost loneliness or helplessness, and that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, just the trailer for part 2 looks awesome. I feel like I have a bit of a time limit because I want to, I want to play this one. It was very spooky. There were like some creepy moments with those those bad guys.
Yeah,
which ones?
They're called BTs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, BTs. So like
the like spirit people who grab you and drag you into mud or whatever.
Yeah, very creepy. So like I remember having a lot of fun and being creeped out a little bit. And I was like, I will get back to this when I'm not as easily creeped out. No, it wasn't that, but it was just like, I really got to get back to that. So Death Stranding is my first.
What platform are you playing that on?
I got it for PS5.
Oh, okay, 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the director's cut edition?
Yeah, it's the director's cut. Now, like, I got it originally, I guess, was it for PS4?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got it originally for PS4. And then I think there was like an upgrade because I did the digital thing and got the director. So I ended up doing it. And, it's like, I'm like, oh, surely I'm going to play this now. And just haven't had the time because I really want to sink my teeth into it.
I'm about, I don't know, maybe a third or half of the way into the game. And there was a mission. I don't want to spoil anything. You have to do some really messed up stuff in that game. You got to carry bodies places, right? Like there's it's a dark game. There's a very, very dark undertone to everything that you're doing there. The Death Stranding itself is never really fully explained, but it's a bad thing that happened. There are times in that game where it makes you do something, and I just didn't like it. I was like, okay, I'm going to take some time off. It's been over a year for me. When I do play it, it is usually because I'm testing out Steam Deck, and it's very well optimized for Steam Deck now. It was one of those launch Steam Deck titles that like everyone was using during the review process, but it is actually one of the best Steam Deck games out there.
Nice.
I started playing it on PS4, and then I moved over to PC. Because I think it had I had an early PS4, right? I didn't have the Pro, so Death Stranding made that thing chug. So I switched to PC, and now I'm just I don't know. I agree. The trailer for the next one looks cool, so I want to beat this game before then. But that's a good pick. I like it though. The gameplay loop is actually fun for me.
It's fun, actually. Yeah.
Every time you jump on a vehicle in that game, it is like the funniest and saddest thing.
It's ever. A troll. It's got to be a troll, man. It has to be. We can move on here in a second, but like just on vehicles. The first time you get the tri-bike or whatever, you walk out, you drive it up the whatever the distribution center that you're at, and you're just surrounded by rocks. Like there's no flat land to drive on at all. So it's like
in a game where like hitting a pebble will stop you dead in your
swear
tracks.
to God, Kojima's trolling because like you're like, oh man, I finally got this awesome vehicle, and then you're like, I can't go 2 feet without falling over on this stupid thing. So I wonder if I would love to chat with him about the inspiration behind some of his design choices in that game, because it does feel like a commentary on gaming. Like it's like a meta commentary on video games in general. But yeah, awesome game. I like it quite a bit, but there are moments that I get up and I walk away from that game for a while.
Joe, let me ask you, like, because in the vein of the games and the scorekeeping, will you be judging who has the best backlog, and that counts as a win or a point?
Yeah, I'll be determining a winner.
Okay, Joe. Well, what's your first backlog game, Joe?
My first backlog game was Game of the Year 2014.
Whoa.
Which is, I guess, a little trivia before I say it.
Dragon Quest Inquisition?
Dragon
Age. Sorry.
Dragon Age Inquisition. I am a mega fan of the first two.
Sure.
Even the second, which is typically disliked.
Yeah, not everybody likes the second one. That's fair.
And with the fourth game on the horizon, some are saying coming out any month now, later in the year. I just feel like, I gotta play this thing. And astute listeners will say, but Joe, you hate Rebirth because of its open world. Yeah, this one's even worse. But I still feel like I got to do it because I'm a Dragon Age fan, a BioWare fan. Mm-hmm. So that's the tension there. So there's a little bit of cynicism that comes with my pick here, I guess. Strangely, that I'm not eager to play it, but I just really want to have played it. That's my pick.
That's a good pick.
Asif, go.
Oh man, my second pick. I'm not gonna say Death Stranding because John did, and we already talked about it. So I'm gonna say Demon's Souls for the PS5, that remake.
Yep.
Sure.
I suck at Souls games, you guys. I'm really bad at them, I frequently bounce off of them. But like this is the first Souls game, and it's been remade to look pretty. It's like one of the better looking PS5 games. It was obviously a launch title, or like a launch window title for PS5. So it was like one of the first PS5 games that I bought, and the personal challenge is just me getting through the first freaking level in that game. So I really dislike the PlayStation 5 controller, the DualSense. So I bought this, I have like a third-party Vitrix controller now that has great triggers, and you can move the analogs so they're offset or next to each other. So it's like kind of modular. That has opened the door for me coming back to PlayStation in a lot of ways. So that's a game that, just for my own gamer cred, I just want to beat that game, or at least progress in it,
Nice.
before I try to get into the Souls games and Sekiro and I don't know, Elden Ring and all that stuff.
Yeah. Good pick. That's a white whale for many, I believe.
Yeah. And it looks great. It's like really impressive looking, but yeah, I can't play that the same way.
TJ.
So this is very, 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 very new, but like I really, really want to get into Helldivers 2, and I just haven't yet.
Yeah.
I loved the first Helldivers. Those guys understand what they're doing with their game. They have a complete understanding of the schlock and silliness of like it's a straight up parody of Starship Troopers, which itself was a straight up parody of militaristic
videos, yeah.
And how hard they lean into it while also making a fun game is pretty incredible. I love it. I love their mood about it. I love the actual gameplay itself. The first game was like isometric, like looking down on your characters from up above, and like having this one shift to the behind the shoulder camera so that you're actually like there in front of the bugs coming at you is pretty rad. I love that. And honestly, like I need other people to play that game with, because Helldivers should not be a solo experience. It's much, 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 much better with others.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't been able to play a whole lot of it, but it is fun as hell.
Yeah,
and I agree.
Play that one.
I think you're gonna like it, dude. It's
I like it, but I'm like, yeah, that's it feels like a time sink, but I would love to check that out too.
It also, like TJ said, you need to be able to play with friends with God. So God help you, man. Like trying to find time to sit down.
It's a sync up everywhere or anybody.
Getting the crew to like come together for a game now when you're in your mid 40s is basically impossible.
That's a toughie.
Yeah.
It's like getting people to be here for recording a podcast is hard. Let alone like, hey, nighttime and then different time zones. And that's been the one thing keeping me from playing Helldivers 2 also, is that none of my friends are playing it when I want to play it.
Sure.
But it's great.
Right.
Cinematic as hell. It looks awesome.
Cool. John, you're up.
Nice. Let me look at my note. It is The Last of Us 2.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Yeah.
I liked the first one very much. Obviously watched the HBO series, which was really good. And I've heard amazing things about the sequel. And I know that it's got remastered and things like that. It's just one of those that the first one was such a punch, and I think this one is going to be a punch. And it's like the world is already very punchy. It's like, do I really want to depress myself over the course of like 20 hours?
See, I think it helps you feel. It's a gut punch, but man, so few things, Kasuga among them, make you feel anything anymore, you know?
That's fair. No, that's a good point. And I think that's why it is on the list this high also. So I do look forward to checking it out. And we'll probably try to do that before the new season of the HBO show. I don't think there's any real correlation. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing, but that is my second choice.
Nice. Great. My second choice is KOTOR 2, another BioWare game. Isn't that why? You just didn't even realize that when I was saying it. At the time, I had an Xbox original, which ran KOTOR 2 at roughly 10 frames a second. And even as a teenager, I had no patience for that. So I shelved it. And I have over the years always meant to get back to it, including most recently with the Steam Deck, with all of these Steam Workshop modifications that have apparently made the game whole, as it's considered not to be a completed game by Obsidian. So yeah, I don't have a good excuse. I'm sure I would love it. I even played the first game, not for the first time, but a replay like just 2-3 years ago, and I was like, wow, this thing is still great. Why haven't I played the sequel yet? So shame on me, and maybe I'll rectify it soon. Who knows? That's it. Asif, you're up.
Nice. So it's on me, my third one.
Third and final pick.
I pulled up my Switch library and I pulled up my Steam library, and I'm just kind of looking at some of the games that I have bought. I don't think this game's relatively new, so I don't want to put it, but I just want to mention it. I need to play Pacific Drive. Like I need to play that game. It's out. I have it. They gave us early copies over at Shack, so like it's on our must play list. So yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
I don't know what Pacific Drive is.
EJ?
It is a sci-fi driving game in which you basically, it's like it takes place in an alternate universe where like some incident happened in like the woods around Seattle, like the Olympic Peninsula in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just some schmuck that ended up in there and was like exploring it and got sucked inside by mysterious forces. And you find this crappy old station wagon to help you survive. And you're trying to escape. And in order to do that, you have to like keep the station wagon like fixed up, repaired, change the tires, change out the panels, actually repair the doors and stuff.
Like a survival game, but the car needs to survive.
And then, like, out in the world, like, as you're exploring it and, like, collecting stuff you need, there are, like, these weird anomaly creatures that aren't even necessarily creatures so much as they're just, like, things that happen out there. Like, one anomaly is just a straight-up wave of force that will make your car's electronics go haywire. Another is, like, a big old scrap heap with a magnetic, with, like, a magnetic towing cable on it that'll grab your car and like drag it around if it gets a hold of it.
It sounds scary.
It is.
And it is pretty scary.
Yeah.
And and then like the car itself is like also an anomaly, and it is slowly eating away at your character's brain.
Okay.
So it's crazy. It's like a really exactly. But like the amount of time you spend on fixing up the car, looking around these kind of beautiful environments, and then running into these weird things, it's one of the weirdest and most compelling survival games I've ever played.
So that's not my pick.
Oh,
I just wanted to say I need to play this game. It's not really it's so new. I don't think it's fair to consider it part of my backlog. But Disco Elysium is not new, and it is in my backlog, and I need to play that game. So that's the one I'm picking.
Very critically.
Sam Chandler would weep to hear you say that.
great pick.
But look, I waited. Here's the problem. I didn't want to play it on Steam because I'm at my computer all day, and Steam Deck didn't exist at the time, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait because I heard it was coming to Switch, and then it comes to Switch, and it's like really, really, really not a good port. So then I was like, fine, I'm not gonna play on Switch, but like I need to play it on. Basically, I want to play it on Deck. But yeah, I've talked to Sam a lot about it. Sam Chandler over on Shack News Staff, and he's like, mate, you got to play this game. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play it. I played a little bit of it when it was up for Game of the Year deliberations or whatever, but like I never got fully into it. I want to play that game. That I need to finish that game. That's my.
I think that's a fantastic pick. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Great. TJ, you're up.
So this one is like an odd one because I want to play it, but I'm also waiting on a certain something. System Shock 2.
Mm.
So we got the System Shock remake from Night Dive Studios, and it's amazing. I reviewed that game as well. It was an incredible experience to like go through this game that's like got all the trappings and all the modernizations of like modern graphics, reworked UI and all that stuff because the old one was really heinous. But also it had sensibilities of the old game, like you don't get a map. You have to like map it out yourself and figure out where you're going and how to and which way to go and what you need to do. I thought that was very cool, and it made me want to play the second one all the more because everybody says that that System Shock 2 is like one of the best horror shooters ever made. And the reason I haven't jumped into it immediately is that like it's got to be coming from Night Dive at some point, right? Like with the success of System Shock Remake 1, I feel like it's coming, and
that's
it's
the
just
more
a matter
popular
of
System
time.
Shock too, right? Like that's the one people like the most.
Mm-hmm. So I want to jump in, but I'm also kind of holding off just to see if Night Dive makes that announcement anytime soon.
Yeah, very cool. Nice.
Good answer.
John, you're up. Final answer.
Final answer. This will clinch me the win.
It better be one of these Zelda games, man. I don't know what the hell else.
Zelda did make it.
It better.
To my top 4.
What the fuck?
And I will tell you what made it.
Don't play Breath of the Wild, please.
No, because that's an easy choice.
Okay.
And I'm going for the win here.
Okay.
Because now everything's a competition.
Every single segment Joe does is a competition to us. Yes.
Hey, he started it.
I know he did.
Stats thing and the stats padding that he does. I don't know what that means. I was going for the rebounds. Okay. My third choice, Metroid Dread.
Oh, wow. There you go. Good one. Good.
I'm being open and honest. Super Metroid is
better.
A top 3 game, if not a top 2 game.
It's your favorite game. Depends what day it is, but
it's really there. No, I have said Super Metroid is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like I'm just giving it a little bit of elbow room. But yeah, Metroid Dread, just like what the hell is my problem? So I have it. It's right there next to Pikmin 4 and next to against Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. So like there's absolutely, but that is the game that like I gotta really take 10 hours. What the hell is it? 15 hours?
Yeah.
Longer than that.
Shame on you, for shame.
I bounced off of it on a very difficult boss battle, and I just never went back. But it's great.
I gotta give it a go. So that's my third.
Good one.
And final. A fantastic array, actually, if you think Death Stranding, The Last of Us 2, Metroid Dread. Joe, why don't you just wrap it up with your...
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Yeah.
My pick is drum roll. Guys, you'll never guess this. My pick, and I am not going to change my answer because it's the most honest answer, is Disco Elysium. Talk about burning a hole in my head. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's the white whale. That's my white whale. And
It
I
is.
had the same Steam Deck, thought process. I'm wait till I get the Steam Deck, then I'll make time for it. And then I'm like, oh, but I really want to be able to focus on it because I think this is probably going to be an all-timer for me. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And when am I going to be ready? I don't know. But maybe we should just co-play, Asif, at the same time and like keep each other accountable or something.
Yeah, but also I'm not playing it on Switch. There's no way. I regret buying it on Switch. But yeah, it's I have it for Steam and I could play it on deck, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'm gonna get to it, but it's on my list. It's like one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I have to get to this eventually.
Maybe we'll do a game club or something just to force us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes the input round. Now I have some superlatives to hand out. For newest release named here, it would have gone to Pacific Drive, Asif, but you retracted your submission, and so this is going to go to Pikmin 4.
I still win. Yeah.
So you still win. Yes. So congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
I'd like to thank Nintendo for releasing too many games last year for me to play. But yeah, also the soundtrack, excellent. Just want to throw it out there. The music's super peaceful and nice. I love those games. I gotta play that.
Yeah, that's good. Most unlikely is the next superlative, and Asif, you're coming away a big winner today because Demon Souls ain't happening, bud. I just don't see it.
You don't see me ever doing it, or
it's too tough.
It's a hard video game. That is. I'll give you that.
It is cruel too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even get to the part where I play multiplayer. Like I'm that bad at this, you guys. But yeah.
I say it's as someone else here who will not be seeing credits on Demon Souls. Yeah, it just ain't happening. So congratulations to Asif for that one.
I saw credits. I watched the speedrun of GDQ 1 year.
Okay, he gets behind the technicality. The Don't Bother award goes to me for Dragon Age Inquisition.
Damn.
Because no one needs to explore the hinterlands in 2024. That doesn't seem like a good use of time. The Wait for the Remaster award goes to TJ for System Shock 2. Excellent pick.
Yeah.
The judges deliberated quite a bit on this one, and they ultimately ruled in favor of TJ.
John cannot handle this right now. He hasn't won anything.
I'm silently shaking.
This is like Miyamoto on Mario Day. This is exactly what I was talking about.
Breath of the Wild or something. Joe, man.
The highest quality backlog.
Oh.
The runaway winner goes to John for the 3 best games that he has not played.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. That means
it really isn't. It's like, wow, your backlog is full of excellent video games that you didn't give the time to.
Doing? I'm in the Yokohama Underground, hour 104, instead of playing.
You spent 80 hours in Starfield instead of playing 5 minutes of Tears of the Kingdom.
I will say, I had COVID.
God, I wish COVID made you play your Switch instead. Just once.
I had the cloud.
Just one time, COVID is like, hey, John, fire up Tears of the Kingdom for Nintendo Switch.
I will say, I don't know how to explain that except medically.
It's fine. Look, it's fine. Right, but I'm just saying, those are 2 glaring omissions from your star-studded backlog.
That's a pretty good list. Who wants to play the backlog? You wanted to play my backlog.
Yeah, if this was a desert island backlog, I'd pick John's 100 times.
I would definitely pick John's over. Yeah. John's over mine. Helldivers 2, TJ's would be pretty fun.
Helldivers 2 is very compelling. I mean,
I checked. There's no service. There's no internet connection.
There's no internet.
Oh no, that's a deal breaker.
There's no internet on this deserted island. Damn it.
That's really why you're stuck there. It turns out.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I can't even tether to my phone. Okay, fine.
How am I going to download my 3 games? I have to have physical media. Ugh.
No, you just come preloaded. That's all. And you got to hope, there's no critical patches that come your way. Anyway, this has been Backclogged. Thanks for playing. I guess John wins.
I'll take it. I'm walking up the stage. I'm saying
the real win will be when John comes in here and is like, hey, I freed one of the divine beasts in Breath of the Wild. That's
I
what
mean, that is a win.
I thought you were calling John playing one of these games, freeing a divine beast, because that's also excellent. And
I mean,
I do think John should go home and free one of these 3 divine beasts.
if I had to pick one, if I had to pick one, just knowing the gamer that John is and like the amount of time he has in a day to do anything recreational, I think Metroid Dread is
That's
the one
right?
that you could get.
And also Switch. I mean, having Switch and like going on I'm going to DVC next week. Like, I need some games. This feels good. Also, freeing the divine beast, is that a euphemism?
No,
that's exactly what I mean. Now it is. Yes.
Now it is. It could be a euphemism.
And it's not a dirty one. It just it's in relation to Backclogged, everyone's favorite segment. We're gonna free these divine beasts.
Backclogged and freeing the divine beast.
Okay.
All right, this has been Backclogged. Head over to Storytime. Asif, take it away.
We'll be right back with Storytime, so stay tuned.
Guys, I'm feeling a little backclogged right now. I might have to go soon.
Okay, yeah, and Metamucil.
Well, let's go. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Let's see. We got Rise of the Ronin hands-on preview written by TJ Denzer right here. TJ, would you like to tell the world what you think, what you're allowed to say about Rise of the Ronin?
So this is the latest jam from Team Ninja, known very well for the Ninja Gaiden series, Neo, and games like that. It's the first time I've seen them do a true open world game, which like don't groan right away, but you start as like a set of twins, and they have like this connect. They're like raised from children. It's set. Okay, hold on. Backdrop, it's set in like the turning of ages in Japan when it was opening its doors to the West. It's known as the Bakumatsu era. So the shogunate was going away. Western civilization was coming in, and there was a lot of people that were like resistant to it. And during that time, you play as a couple of twins that were raised to be like warriors, and one of them gets shellacked and disappears, and you basically go on an adventure to go find them because you don't think they're dead. And it's really beautiful right out of the gate. I want to say that right away. Like this open world is maybe one of the most gorgeous open worlds I've seen in a while. The amount of detail they poured into just like the trees and foliage, the like sort of broken down villages, the nice villages, the influx of Western culture into Japan in some of the larger cities, and then like just the amount of stuff that you can do out there. Like it's got that thing that most open world games have, where you go and hunt down like checkpoints to kind of leave yourself fast travel spots in the world. But most of them are set in areas that are kind of beautiful to explore. Like you're just wandering through broken down castles and gorgeous fields full of like cherry blossom trees. And then of course it's Team Ninja, so it's got hard combat to it. Like a large portion of the game is built around like duels and combat between samurai. And there's so many different kinds of weapons in this game to use. Like you start with a certain, like at the beginning of it, you start with like a certain class, I would say, and that kind of determines what you're specialized in. But there are like around 9 different weapon classes that you can try out and figure out and level up and gain skills in. And the combat is like super unforgiving. Like I had in the tutorial level alone, I was like having a moment where like I would run up to these there was like a whole bunch of ninjas, and I had to fight all of them, and they were just beating me up constantly until I figured out how to counter them properly. And once you like start to finally get a feel for how the combat flows, it is gorgeous and satisfying, and it's pretty incredible like what they've done with like their combat over the years. But this like feels like some of the most refined version of that. So I can't say too much more yet, but this is shaping up to be a pretty promising game for Team Ninja. Like it's definitely, I feel, one of their most ambitious so far.
Nice. Yeah, it looks. I absolutely love the art style of it. But those Team Ninja games are pretty tough. So I'm kind of worried when I hear, oh, the devs who made Neo. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not gonna. I don't have much of a shot here, but no, it sounds awesome. And we're looking forward to a review from you probably down the road.
Yep.
Nice. We already hit this. Sorry, these are the longy stories, which are trademarked now.
Right.
The other longy, we kind of already hit this several times throughout the podcast, but Shigeru Miyamoto said, "This is Miyamoto," and he announced that the new Super Mario Bros. Movie is they've begun development of it, and then Chris Malahandri from Illumination said that they're really working on set design right now because I imagine they're going to reuse a lot of those character designs that they did. So if you're looking for the younger looking Mario, you're probably still going to see that. No idea about who's going to be cast in this or where it's going to take place, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I still feel like we're in the. You remember when like Marvel was actually making good movies and they weren't even owned by Disney yet? It's like this first Mario movie that came out last year is Iron Man, and we're like very far away from Infinity War right now. So
Nice.
yeah,
Well said.
I think that there's a long, long runway for Nintendo to make billions and billions and billions of dollars off of their IP because comic books are kind of boring now. They've done everything they can and ruined a lot of my favorite stories like Civil War. So yeah, interested to see more about this, but also, they already announced the Zelda live action movies in development with Sony. So there are now 2 movies in development at Nintendo right now, as opposed to 0 3 years ago or 5 years ago.
Do you think that Super Mario Bros. 2, the film, will have Mickey Rourke in it to tie into your Iron Man analogy?
Maybe. I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, they did borrow from some of the Marvel cast for the first movie. So yeah, maybe.
Okay. You heard it here first.
And I think that there's still an opportunity for television spin-offs for that universe, right? Like a Donkey Kong show or a Yoshi show. I also think Animal Crossing would be an interesting shorter form kind of thing. So yeah, Star Fox. I don't know. I could sit here for a few hours and just pitch Nintendo on video content. So yeah, those were the longies. Let's get to the quickies. And I can't think of a better quickie than a Jeff Keighley story. So yeah, Jeff, God Emperor of video games Keighley, has announced he will be gracing Los Angeles with the Summer Game Fest 2024, but not just an in-person event. There's going to be a presentation on June 7th at 5 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to be held at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles, but you'll be able to watch it on all of Jeff's social platforms, and then he'll tell you how many people watched them on each one afterwards. And then after that, there's going to be a hands-on event for press and influencers. So just thank the God Emperor for returning to LA for one more year of a celebration of video games. I'm really curious what this means for IGN Live. Like, are they going to try to have IGN Live happen at the same time or what? That was the E3 replacement that they announced. So yeah, Summer Game Fest happening again. Yep. Next story, another quickie. South Africa Reserve coming to Call of the Wild, the Angler. Bill Lavoie is our crack reporter on all things Call of the Wild. And yeah, we had an exclusive story here at Shack News. So yeah. We also post a lot of videos for how to catch like legendary and difficult fish in that game. So check us out on YouTube for that. Moving on to another quickie. We kind of mentioned this earlier. Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD they both received release dates. Let me just make sure I can get the release date info to the folks at home.
Both of those games feel like cloggers to me.
So The Thousand Year Door arrives on May 23rd. Thousand Year Door is not a bad game. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, not my favorite Luigi's Mansion game, comes out on June 27th. and it costs $60. So I don't know about that one. I've seen a lot of people talking about the price of that game being kind of high, considering it's like, I don't know. We'll see how it looks fine. But I think Luigi's Mansion 2 HD was kind of shorter because it was a 3DS game. So not really sure what to think about this. To your point, Joe, these are like, there's only I think there's 3 games that were on their like, here's what's coming out this year list. These are 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what the back half of the year has to hold for Nintendo right now. If we are going to get like, this is the kind of year where you bring back Nintendogs or Brain Training or like one of your really weird IP that don't require a huge development cycle. This is a good time to release that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an announcement like that from Nintendo in like June or something.
I'm excited for Thousand Year Door as well because so when people say they want the best of Paper Mario, they're talking about Thousand Year Door. That is like widely considered to be the best one of the series by far. It's got a lot of people's favorite characters. It's got a really lengthy story to it, and this is probably some of the best mechanics in it. It's a little bit grindy, but as far as what Paper Mario has produced, it's like the best of the best, and that's the one that everybody wants.
Yeah, and I know the last one that came out on Switch, it didn't really hit for everyone. So we'll see how this one's received. But yeah, it's coming out pretty soon. It'll be out in May. But we had that segment about how clogged our backlogs are. It's like, do we really? I'm gonna pass on Luigi's Mansion 2. Just as someone who already played it for 3DS, like I feel like I got what I needed out of that, and $60 for another. I wish they didn't price it like that. So yeah, another quick. Sorry, Joe, what were you saying?
Yeah, that is kind of a bummer. It seems like one I would grab for the shelf, but I would be less inclined at that price.
Yeah.
So that's a full price game, not even a $50.
No. Yeah, they're charging $60.
That's odd. I kind of also expected the Princess Peach game to be
a little
$50.
priced. Yeah.
And that's $60. It's nuts.
And Nintendo is like, they're clearly on a sliding scale now, right? Because like Tears of the Kingdom was $70, and I think it was Metroid Prime Remastered was only $40. And then obviously like smaller games are still being priced in like the 20s. But yeah, it seems like if it's a Mario universe game right now, it's still $60. Mario versus Donkey Kong is another example of that, right? Let me make sure before I go off and say that. But I remember being like, that's kind of pricey for a GBA game. It's $50. Sorry. So Mario versus Donkey Kong is one that's priced at $50, which I guess is it's still kind of high because it's a rather short game. But we're entering year 8 for Nintendo Switch. So they're just trying to make money at this point off of whatever they can. So yeah, the next quickie. Halo 2 online matchmaking returns to the OG Xbox thanks to a community mod. That's insane. Does anyone have a functioning Xbox? Because I don't.
I do actually, but I mean, I feel like it would sound like an air horn if I turned it on.
So yeah, Halo 2 fans will be able to play via the Insignia mod. They're spinning up a public beta so that you can log into Xbox kind of and play Halo with people. So that is pretty insane. Not Halo 2, which I mean, Halo 2 is like maybe one of the greatest multiplayer games of all time. So interesting to see this news. We picked it up kind of before anyone else, and I saw the Halo the Discord that these modders use. They linked to our article, and they're like, "Oh my god, they saw us." So it's no secret. Shack News really loves the Halo series. Not all of them are great, but Halo 2 is one of those that we hold in very high regard.
I was about to say Halo Infinite doing so good that players went back and made Halo 2 work again so they could play it instead.
That's accurate. And also, Halo 2, I believe it was the round of 16 game at the Shack News World Championship at E3 2018. So I think it was mid-ship with shotguns or something, but yeah, hell of a run that game has had. I love that people still love Halo 2 so much that they're doing stuff like this. I just thought that was a fun story. And I salute the modders out there who are doing cool stuff. Another quickie, I'm gonna hit these last two real quick. Multiverses. Remember that? No?
Yeah,
I remember
Multiverses. It's launching in May, and they redesigned it on Unreal Engine 5, and they have a new netcode too. So the hope is that it runs better online. I had fun with this game.
Is this the one that launched in like a
Beta
prior to 1.0, and then it went offline entirely for like a year?
Yes.
That's this game?
Yes, that is this game. And they had a very extended beta, and then to be honest, they listened to their fans a lot, and they decided to kind of just go back to work, fix all the problems, and come back. I'm just surprised that Warner Brothers Discovery didn't can this too, because that seems like what all they do is. Although this is a live service game and it takes advantage of all their IP, so maybe that was enough of a sell for them to not kill this. But yeah, I like what Player First Games is doing over there. I was a Bugs Bunny main back in the original. I would like Bugs and Shaggy maybe. But yeah, it's the fighter list in this game is so weird. Like, you can fight as LeBron James from Space Jam 2, and it's definitely not his voice. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones is in this. Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman,
Giant, right?
Iron Giant. Yeah. Iron Giant's weird
Steven
in this game.
Like, it's pretty.
Iron Giant is built so that you can, like, when he activates his ultimate, another player can climb inside of him and pilot him.
So yeah, and it's also built like it's not like Smash where it's built for 1v1 combat or 1v1 8 player or whatever. It's a 2v2 setup. So it's it's about playing. You can play with a friend. The competitive meta was all about pairs competing with each other. They had a tournament at EVO the 1 year where the beta was live. So this is coming out before EVO. I'd be curious to see if they somehow make it in as like a side tournament or something. But Smash Ultimate's pretty much dead. I shouldn't say dead, but it's like complete. So when it comes to platform fighters, we basically have this coming, but then there's also Rivals of Aether, I think, has a sequel coming. Brawlhalla is still doing quite well from Ubisoft. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to that, but
Yeah.
that's been going for a while. So there is a chance that Warner actually succeeds in making a video game here. It might be by accident, or maybe because they trusted Player First Games as opposed to doing something internally here. But yeah, I'm rooting for this game. I like platform fighters, and I just like the absurdity of being able to beat the crap out of LeBron James as Batman and stuff. It's fun.
Sure. We all fantasize about that for sure.
Yeah. Every time he leaves Cleveland. And then lastly, the last quickie. This is Final Fantasy 16's PC release is in the final stages of optimization and is likely to get a demo. So yeah, this was an interview with Game Informer where this news kind of broke. So your favorite Final Fantasy, Joe?
This is the worst one. It's not even close. It's not even close.
So yeah, your favorite Final Fantasy game is coming to PC, so you're going to be able to play it on deck. Maybe, right?
Wow.
No?
Yeah, I'm never touching this game ever again. It's so bad that I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, even people that like action games. I would say don't waste your time. Go play Devil May Cry.
Would you recommend people play Kingdom Hearts 3 over it?
I don't have any Kingdom Hearts knowledge of any kind, so I couldn't say.
Okay. Because there's some listeners out there that probably know what I'm referring to, but yeah, it's just Kingdom Hearts 3 is a divisive game made by Square 2, and it kind of is a similar kind of battle mechanics. Obviously, not without the giant kaiju dragons or whatever you can call in.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's those were the quickies. I did it. I got through the list. I did the
really
thing.
good. Yeah.
Right. I tried to keep them quick. This whole
really
longies and quickie branding that you have. They're like, folks at home, like Joe makes this nice little outline for me, and like the word quickies is like in multiple colors and has a trademark next to it. So it just feels official. And then just real quick, one last story. Embracer Group sold Saber Interactive. The deal could still be worth up to $500 million, but right now it's like 247. They're still working on some games that they were already working on, but this is a studio that is being emancipated from Embracer Group. We saw that with Toys for Bob a few weeks ago with the Activision deal. So it's nice that some of these studios are going to get to survive. This is bad news for me because when Embracer owned both Gearbox and Saber, they had the intellectual property for Duke Nukem and the development studio that made Duke Nukem under the same umbrella, and now they don't again. So that's frustrating as a fan of Duke Nukem. But yeah, you know, they're I think I'd say the biggest game that Saber was working on right now is that Space Marine 2, right? So we'll see what happens on that front. But yeah, this is good news. So yeah, congratulations to the people who got out of the clutches of the Embracer Group. Yeah, it's not that surprising. It's a company named Embracer Group just kept buying companies. But yeah, we're on the other side of this now, where companies are selling. They're selling, and companies that can't afford to buy themselves back are. So good for them. So that's it. That's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice and tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. There's a lot of places you can follow and support Shack News on the internet. We're on X, right? That sounds like I'm on ecstasy when I say that. We're on Twitter at Shack News, Facebook Shack News, TikTok. For now, we're on TikTok for now, and it's run by the Chinese Communist Party. But yeah, Shack News over there. What else? YouTube Shack News, but we're also Shack News interviews on YouTube. This podcast goes live on our YouTube channel, and people were commenting about Blues Traveler a couple weeks ago. But yeah, the whole discussion happening in all these different comment sections. And then yeah, we have Bubbletron.com, which is our first game. Each day there's a reset with a new thing that happened on this day, and also new parameters to combine to make your actual business idea. Yeah, actually, what was yesterday's? I think we had a pretty good. Let me make sure. Our low valuation yesterday was a social media analytics esports organization for Republicans. It was only valued at $8,600. So Bubbletron seemed pretty smart on that front. And then also the high valuation of the day was a THC infused metaverse for cats. That sounds awesome. And it was valued at $4.5 trillion by Bubbletron, which is very rational market going on over there. We're working on a Shack Pets update. That's our app. It's on Google Play and App Store, and maybe Epic Game Store in Europe someday. So yeah, those are some of the things you can do. We're on Twitch also. I think Thursdays are pretty busy for us on Twitch. Last Friday we did a Mario Kart stream. We're going to rank all 96 Mario Kart tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So we call it the road to the top 96. And last week we ranked the Rainbow Road tracks. I think the next episode we're going to do Mario Kart Tour. So yeah,
we also played Baby Park, so we could figure out which one was the worst right away.
But I don't think we did. There's argument among the staff about Baby Park not being the worst, and
there are indeed opinions about Baby Park which were unexpected. I had no idea that anyone was a Baby Park apologist.
When I signed up to do the top 96, I penciled in Baby Park at 96. I was like, this is the least. We're not going to have to debate this. Baby Park sucks. Like, do you guys like Baby Park?
You know it.
I don't even know what it is.
It's a circle. It's like I don't know. I'm only going to use racing game vernacular, but it's like Deathwind 1, which is a perfect oval in F-Zero. This is like a perfect oval, right? It's it's basic, and it's fast. There's a lot of laps. I think it's one of the few. Is it like 8 laps or something stupid, TJ? It's like really fast. I think
it's 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah.
And the idea is just it's a very, very short, very, very cramped, very, very simple track in which you just throw everything that you've got at everyone all the time because you're in such close proximity to them. And it's just chaos from beginning to end.
Yeah. So I don't know what's wrong with people who like Baby Park, but they're out there. There's nothing we can do about it. But yeah, those are the places where you can support us all over the internet. Like I said, in the past, we create content for all those different places. So shacknews.com is going to be the place to go if you want to see editorial reviews. And then we also do video reviews over on Shack News. All of our interviews are at Shack News Interviews. And then we cut up a bunch of vertical videos and put them on all those places. So even when TikTok dies, we'll be able to put vertical videos on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and maybe even Twitter, because they're pivoting to X video, which is a very bad brand for them to try to take over. Yeah, so those are the places. That's the show. I think I'm getting better at wrapping up at the end of the week or the end of the episode, but I don't have like a proper sign off yet, but that's it. Thanks for listening. And that's it. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, TJ.
Bye. Thanks, TJ.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Shack. Thanks. Your first time here at the Shack News Extended Podcast Universe.
Thanks,
we
TJ.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks,
Hopefully
TJ.
the first of a few.
Hell yeah.
Yes, please come back. Goodbye.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye, Craig.